So Scott Peters is about to cook with Jalen Rivers. Ironically enough, Jalen Rivers obviously not our highest offensive lineman pick, which was Dylan Fairchild. Dylan Fairchild, by the way, will be starting at left guard, or he's going to be competing for the starting left guard job. As it says right here, start immediately at left guard. He's got the inside track now towards securing the position as a top 100 selection. And again, now that we know Cordell Volson's contract is fully incentive-based, the Bengals are also not incentivized to use Cordell Volson as a starter. They're more incentivized to use Dylan Fairchild. But Jalen Rivers is the guy I want to talk about today because this is the guy that should be kind of interesting. So according to Scott Peters, he says, we like major guys in one spot, so they start to build a toolbox. It's a little easier for them to learn and then replicate those moves on opposite sides as they have learned one spot. We see Rivers as a tackle and a guard right now because of his length and ability to pass protect. He gives you some options. So here's the big thing here. This is pretty much going to end up being the Cody Ford 2.0 situation. Now again, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that he's going to be as good or as bad or whatever you want to say about Cody Ford. What I'm saying is he's going to become a Swiss Army knife. Jalen Rivers, that is. So we're going to start him at left tackle, see what he does in left tackle, right? He'll be the direct backup to Orlando Brown. But he, again, will be utilized at multiple different positions throughout training camp, preseason, and when we get to the regular season, as a backup, he'll be utilized pretty much anywhere. So that does mean we now have two players who are going to be utilized as Swiss Army knives. Because Cody Ford is like the OG Swiss Army knife, right? He's the guy that you could really put anywhere, left tackle, right tackle, guard. I don't think he's ever played center, but he can pretty much play everything. Now Jalen Rivers is going to be our second guy like that. The reason why this is very important is because offensive line depth, for the most part, has been a big issue for us the last couple years. Look at the last time we won an AFC Championship game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. What happened on the last drive when we are going down the field, hopefully to score a touchdown and end the game? Hakeem gets destroyed by Chris Jones, thrown right back into Joe Burrow's lap. Joe Burrow gets sacked. We have to punt. We lose the game, right? Why was Hakeem our starting right tackle? Well, that was because we had injuries. Jonah Williams at the time at left tackle got injured. We didn't have someone to back them up. We didn't have depth, right? That's why having players who like I call Swiss Army knives are so important because you can utilize them at more than one position. So when you have a guy who's Swiss Army knife, you're not really just having a backup right tackle where it's like, okay, if Mims goes down, here's our backup. You have a guy who, okay, Mims goes down, here's your backup. You have a guy where your right guard goes down, here's your backup. Left tackle, here's your backup. Guys that can do multiple different things, very, very important. Now, Jalen Rivers only played left tackle in college, so he's never played any other position. But according to Scott Peters, he sees him at guard as well, which is humongously a W if he can get to a point where we feel comfortable with him at guard. If not, yeah, he'll be just a backup left tackle. But if we can get another Swiss Army knife type of guy, those are the guys you want as your depth because they can be utilized in so many different ways. Also, you can utilize them more when it comes to goal line situations, jumbo packages, stuff like that, where you don't have to worry about having a specific guy on your roster and wasting a roster spot for that. You have a guy who can be utilized in all different types of ways. Anyway, he says he's someone we know when the time right, we'll be able to move him around a bit. Which again, like I said, I'm very, very excited for this draft class because I have a lot of confidence in our current coaching staff after our updates this offseason. Again, this is what's so frustrating about this offseason. This offseason was not a bad offseason, right? We got a lot of coaches fixed. We got Scott Peters, got rid of Frank Pollock. We got new defensive coordinator, new defensive positional coaches. We did a really good job. We signed Jamar Chase. We signed T. Higgins. If it wasn't for the trade situation, and this is what really, again, I'm not trying to hope on or, go on this one every single video, but it is something that really ticks me off, because if it wasn't, if the Bengals could just get rid of this trade situation and get him signed, this offseason would be looked at as one of the best offseasons. Yes, obviously the draft, people have their opinions, whether they like or dislike it. I like it personally, but again, they have their opinions. But outside of that, this offseason has been amazing. They've done a lot of things that they need to do, and they need to continue to do, obviously. But we are on a great pace if only we got that other situations done with, right? So anyway, though, very excited for this upcoming season. Training camp needs to get here fast, man. I need training camp. I need to just mentally go through the season being back, because it's been too long. I mean, I know right now we're mid-May and we still have June and July. We still have 2 full months. Well, I guess technically training camp's at the end of July, and then Hall of Fame game, I believe, is going to be like roughly around July 31st. But still, I just need to be back, man. Football. I need football back. Guys, let me know below your thoughts and opinions. Please like and comment down below. See you guys next one. Peace.